And so we're trying to do a little bit differently at the University of Utah. It's something that I'm really excited about, and I think it taps into not just people like me, but just this whole generation of people who've grown up and seen people go on to start Yahoo and Facebook and all at that young age. And so what we've done is in the first year of medical school, the medical students, just completely voluntarily, it's not a requirement at all, but they can form these teams. We help them set up the teams where they partner with a student in the engineering school, graduate student there, and an MBA student. And so the teams have to have at least one person from all three, and usually the teams are 5 or 6 people. It's called the bench to bedside competition. And so they have about maybe 6 or 9 months to get together. We expose them to clinical settings. They can go into the ORs, they can go to clinics, they can watch whatever they want to watch. We give them that access. And then we give them $500, all of $500 to create a prototype. And we partner them with some faculty mentors. And I think it's just fabulous. We had more than 200 students involved last year from across the university. And it gives them a feeling, even if their invention isn't the next great big thing, at least gives them a sense of what's possible. And it kind of gets them in that mindset of how can we improve things, how can we do things a little bit better. And it gives them a sense, I think, of empowerment. So, one of my favorite stories in this space is actually not even medical students, it's 2 undergraduates. So there are these 2 undergraduate women, they're freshmen. They're freshman bioengineering majors, and they're in a very similar program. We have this program also for undergrads and for grads, okay? So they're up in the operating room, which you're very familiar with. So they're up in the operating room, and it's an abdominal case, okay? And so, the retractors are in, and the surgeon's got his headlamp on because, his head is blocking out the light, so he's got to be able to see, and he shines up, he sort of blinds them. They're standing against the wall really nervous because they're freshmen, they don't know what they're doing. And they're watching this whole thing play out from the wall, and they say to themselves, and then they say to us, well, that seems really primitive. Why don't you just put some lights on those retractors? Wouldn't that just solve the whole problem there? And every surgeon that I've said that to has said, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think of that? And so just a great example of how fresh eyes put in the right environment and empowered, right? So it's not a trivial problem technically, right? Because you have to sterilize these things and you need power. I mean, it's not trivial from an engineering perspective, but as freshmen, they started doing that. They have their own startup company now. Wow. They actually were in the top 5 in a national entrepreneurial competition just in their sophomore year. So it's pretty amazing. And in my mind, beyond devices and apps, we really need to think about innovations in our delivery system. I mean, I think fundamentally that we're really, I think a few years down the road, we're going to look back and we're going to say, there was so much low-hanging fruit back then. Yeah. I can't believe the safety record. I can't believe your inability to actually track outcomes or measure costs. All those things are going to be really shocking to people. So there's a ton of opportunity for those young people today to really, to not accept everything that they're learning, but to actually question and challenge it.